Salakia. I done did this 2 or 3 times, then stopped it instead of pausing it. I want to get a scripture because it said by a minority, a group of minorities that's going to try and have a dictatorship to control the majority. This is the book of Psalm 64, verse 1. To the chief musician, the Psalm of David, hear my voice, O Yahweh, and my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Verse 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And that's those Illuminatis, those illuminated ones, the supposedly enlightened, those that are enlightened to the left hand side. But what does it say? The left hand has knowledge and wisdom, but we on the right have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know what I mean? And it's one thing that separates us from them, because it says in you can have wisdom, but knowledge of wickedness is not true wisdom. You know what I mean? Psalms 83, verse 2: for lo, thy enemy make a tumult, and they have hate thee. Salaki, and they that hate thee have lifted up thy head. Verse 3: they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and have consulted against thy hidden one. And that's those other nations that had a part in our slavery. They profited off of our slavery, because you had the Hamites, you had the Ishmaelites, you had the Amalek, and then you had Edom. You know what I mean? So all of them profited off of our captivity. And of course these people, that's why it's like pulling tooth and nail to get them to admit who we truly are. But that's how like the Apostle Tahar said something. He was like, how is this the time to be getting weak when you got more sightings of the chariots than I think ever in history? You know what I mean? And a majority in America. You know what I mean? He said, so how is this the time to get weak? You know what I mean? If anything, you should be on fire for the truth. And that's the same with every once in a while, like, of course, majority of Esau and these other nations, they them the people, or you're not the people. What it says in scripture, in the place we're gonna come to a remembrance and say that we are not the people. You know what I mean? Like, we realizing that we're the people, but everybody else saying that we're not the people. At the end of the day, it's always the Most High throw us a bone, though, because you always hear one instance where some Edomite or somebody comes out and says, oh yeah, you know what I mean? It's always, every once in a while, you'll get somebody that will confirm the truth. It says Huxley was tutored by Fabian socialist and pivotal New World Order theorist H.G. Wells, author of The Open Conspiracy and other books detailing the intention of their international New World Order fraction. And H.G. Wells supposed to be part of, in one of the society, a member. Wells was the head of British intelligence during World War I, who proposed the creation of a one world brain, soberingly similar in conception to that of today's internet, that will ultimately act as a police of the mind. Not knew nothing along the lines of that. Never heard of anything like that. It says it has been reported that Huxley was a member of the Children of the Sun, a mystical free love cult of children of the Round Table in Britain that may have shared more than just his name with the German Sonnenkinder, the term used to designate the eugenically bred, racially pure children of Nazi Germany. There is more to suggest this connection than just the name of the group. Members of the British Child of the Sun are reported to have included the fascist Sir Oswald Mosley, British intelligence agent George Orwell, and Guy Burgess. Burgess was one of the founders of the homosexual Freemasonry and higher sodomy of the Apostles at Cambridge, a founder of the pro-Nazi Anglo-German Fellowship in England, a paid agent of the Rothschild family private intelligence network, and his most famous role, a Soviet spy. Other members of the Apostles' homosexual cabal included Soviet spies Blunt, Philby, and McLean, who were largely responsible for the massive compromise of Western intelligence to the Soviets that began in 1930. Huxley was a collaborator with Tavistock's Major John Rawlings Rees, and author of the influential Brave New World. Among other eugenics ideas in the book is the strict structuralization of society through test tube breeding, with the lowest members of society denied oxygen during the fetal growth to reduce intelligence. Let me reread that. It says, among other eugenics ideas in the book is the strict structuralization of society through test tube breeding, with the lowest members of society denied oxygen during their fetal growth to reduce intelligence. In Brave New World Revised, the book's non-fictional sequence, he wrote, the 21st century will be the era of the world's controllers. The older dictators fell because they could never supply their subjects with enough bread, enough circuses. And that's where you get that term bread and circus. You get what I'm saying? Why do you think we was just speaking on that? In the area I'm from, they just tore down all this land. Now, this land was fucking basically abandoned homeless. Esau didn't want to use it. You could have did something with that. Well, you got this huge population of fucking homelessness. You got, my city got, to the point where as much money as the city making, they ain't making no facilities for all these families that's becoming homeless. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what they are doing is they keep on building all these fucking restaurants. They're building a Dunkin' Donuts there in place of a fucking, it's just ridiculous. And that's your bread, and your circuses is all this entertainment, this sports. Like, I think I was listening to somebody listen to football today, or watch football today. And ain't nothing wrong with passing your time, because you can't be preoccupied in the scriptures every day, all day. You'll bug out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's a balance to everything. I remember the first time I heard that, I was in a fake ass church, and this guy looking like me. We both in there looking like we need help. He was so wise. He said, because at the end of the day, he said, God is balanced. You know what I mean? Everybody looking at him all sideways like he crazy. I wasn't in the truth at that time, but it was just something about what he said resonated with my spirit. Come to find out, getting the truth, that's a scripture. The Most High code with how he do things. Salakia. But my point being, that's your circuses, all the entertainment. Supply the subjects with enough bread, enough circuses, enough miracles and mysteries. Yeah, because they'll give you part truth or half truths. You know what I mean? They don't even know every fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. I was listening to a debate with that faggot ass Polite. I call him a faggot. Fuck your gang banging and who all follow you and all that shit. Like I said, I'm starting to get upset. You telling me a motherfucker has no integrity, you gonna put on a dress. If you knew that history, our people so destroyed. Our people probably knew that history, and because they talking about, I'll give you $1 million and the conditions of what Jake's so busy trying to have something in this homosexual fucking society, they'll probably know the history and still do it. You know what I mean? Like, something in your spirit should naturally just be like, when two men, if you was in a position, I don't give a fuck you acting or not. They say, well, you got to kiss this. Like when David Chappelle said, well, I didn't feel comfortable wearing a dress. But at the same time, I respected that. But then you got to remember, David Chappelle did wear a dress. You know what I'm saying? Like in the movie Robin Hood, Men in Tights. You know what I'm saying? Now that probably was before, I'm sure it was way before, he probably wasn't, as far as long as he is now, like at the end of the day, that's one thing, like with Richard Pryor and Dave Chappelle. See, that's the thing about comedians, and one of my brothers broke down, the whole, like, cause that's bread and circus, you know what I mean? The whole comedy thing. And comedians, as silly as they are, they actually aren't stupid people. That's why, like, Richard Pryor is how they look at him like a nigga, but he literally said it, this ain't the average dumbass nigga. Like, that's why he used to, like, basically approach certain, like, situations that, like David Chappelle, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, a few brothers don't like him, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I still find him funny. Show you how bugged out people is. Motherfuckers had the audacity to say that ain't him. He's a clone. You dumb motherfucker. You can't tell that's David Chappelle. First of all, you can't just clone no skill like comedy. Comedy is timing. It's like telling, it's like singing or something. You know what I mean? Like everybody just don't got harmony. You know what I mean? So time it is. You say it and let it sink in, and then you bring the punchline of the certain. You know what I mean? Like that's a skill. Everybody can't do that. You know what I'm saying? The only difference is you could tell he probably on steroids or something, and his voice got deeper. That's the difference. He got heavier and his voice got. But when I heard that, I said, "These niggas is crazy." You know what I mean? Like the fuck, that's a clone, huh? That's not Kodak Black. It's a clone. Like man, get your dumb ass out of here, man. Anyway, Salakia. I would too long, Salakia.